Yeah, 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 yeah. Nature's underground. Nature's underground. Yeah, 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 yeah. 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 Yeah.
I wanted to talk about energy in today's video. I think energy is very important when it comes to where you're just set at. Everyone, if you look at everyone in their face, everyone is set at different energetic points. And what I mean by that is like people carry a certain degree of some type of energy. And depending on what type of homework you've been doing, whether it's positive work or negative work, or maybe you just have a whole lot of drama in your life, I feel like everyone, you can't hide that. You're carrying it around at all times, to the degree to how effortlessly you can speak in front of a camera, to the degree to how you breathe. Or can you just like exhale and relax? Can you just literally let go at a moment's notice, and just go with the flow with things? Or are you kind of uptight? And when you start to meditate, you start to look into your own body, you start to have this awareness. And that awareness will make you realize sometimes people are hanging on to anger. Sometimes people are feeling lonely and they're hiding it. Sometimes people are feeling afraid, right? It's like there's a lot going on beneath the surface. So I think it's really interesting when you can tell a person's vibe just by one look at them. Like, let's say we just saw some guy walking around with like a sledgehammer. This happened to us one time when we were hiking. Some sketchy dude. Both of us took one look at this guy and we were like, we need to get the hell out of here.
Didn't want nothing of that.
He didn't have to say one word to us. We didn't have to look at him any longer. We just knew something was not right. And our ability as humans to pick up on energy is insane. Like,
well, obviously there are people who can do it
even
way better than most people.
Yes.
And then there are people who can do it can't do it at all. They lost the ability for that sense.
Absolutely. So getting back to that, some people call that clairvoyance. Some people call that psychic ability. Some people call it empathy, being empathic.
Sometimes it's just, I like to keep it simple. It's my intuition telling me, hey, like, don't mess with that guy with the sledgehammer.
I mean, the sledgehammer one was not a mystery.
Right.
It was not, as we're going to put our mics to the test here, going through the loud waterfall.
Yeah, it's definitely a test.
The sledgehammer guy was not a mystery, because it's like you see somebody with an intention that is not good, and you just instantly know you should protect your energy, you should leave, you should stay away from this person. It's not going to be any good for you. Yeah. But in the same regard, this is where the important lesson is, it works the other way around. You run into somebody who's so bright, so full of energy, just having such a good day. Like, let's say, like, the best stuff in the world just started happening to you today. Like, you got some money, you got your dream girl, you aced your test, you maybe got a new car, spiritually you're in check, financially, socially, you've just been being a boss. You look into that guy's eyes and you can just feel the energy that this guy is in check. This guy is on point. This guy's on top of his shit. And that's what I find so interesting about energy, is it does not lie. It doesn't lie. You can't fake energy. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to put on this smile for this video today, because the bullcrap's going to shine through. Like, you always have to be authentic with where you're at. Admit where you're at. Be like, okay, I'm here right now. I would like to be up here, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So what do I have to do? And that's where the how-to of energy comes into play, because now it's not only like, okay, let's see, there's this big polarity of positive and negative. I would love to be more positive, because you're happier, you're living better when your set point is higher than someone who's down here. So it's so critical to just pay attention to what it is that you're thinking on a day-to-day basis and a moment-to-moment basis, because that's going to shape your reality. And who you are at all times is always peeking through. you can never hide what you are, right? It's like it's coming through in your eyes,
I mean, we
in
definitely
your
tried.
cheeks.
Scorpio head.
Yeah, we always trying to hide stuff, but it's like you got to break through the mold into who you really are. So the first step I would say is being authentic, trying your hardest to let go of a perceived mask that you're trying to put on, and then just finding that rawness inside of yourself that's actually you. And I think coming into places of nature is very beneficial for that, because it allows you to just kind of zero in on, okay, like this is actually me. You get quiet enough to get to that point. So now you have something to work with. Now you have this kind of baseline that you found. And now that's where the real work begins. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to be fake in their own life. It's exhausting. And to be happy enough to the point where you're raising that set point of your happiness is going to be exhausting at first, especially if you're not used to it. I mean, wouldn't that be so? It's exhausting to be angry, to carry anger, and it's also exhausting. This sounds kind of crazy, but to carry a certain degree of light energy and happiness if you're not used to that. Because your body will start to kick in and start to lower you down again. Here you are trying to be so bright and optimistic. It'll wear at you.
That's funny that you say that, because I believe everyone has a basis of happiness. As far as when we're born, it doesn't matter about like material, any of that. It's almost biological. We have a basis of our happiness, but as soon as we come into the material world, it fluctuates depending on who our parents are, where we're born, what school we're going to, how many cars we have, do we have a home to live in. All of these things add up to our fluctuating happiness level. But say if you were born in a shitty town and everyone hated you, you had no friends, your happiness would probably go below your baseline, right? But as soon as you remove yourself from that, you go back to your baseline. And say you get a job that you always wanted, you bought a car you always wanted, your not your baseline, but your happiness will go up. But that joyous feeling that you had will go back to your baseline. That's why people say money won't buy happiness, is because, yeah, if I just randomly obtained $1 million, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be like, okay, this is amazing. And my happiness will be off the roof.
Shoot up.
But in a couple months, maybe in a year, I'll be right back to my exact basis, my foundation of happiness.
So it's like happiness is independent of where you're at. You could literally be the lowest status person, start up in a rough neighborhood, yet you could still, with adamant work, be really, really happy as millionaires per se, right? It's like as happy as those people with
Some
everything.
millionaires are probably depressed.
And exactly vice versa.
Yeah.
You could have everything, absolutely everything, and be the absolutely saddest, most depressed state and mood of all. It just depends on, are you doing your homework? And by homework, I mean, are you practicing what it
Cleaning
takes?
your room.
Yeah, are you cleaning your damn room? Honestly though, I mean, that's why we preach cold showers. That's why we preach.
This guy made me
man.
take a cold shower this morning.
Before he even got his day started, I
Yeah.
already had him in the cold shower. I
And
was like, you know what, man? You gotta. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was kind of like, this motherfucker, like, for real.
And he was trying
but-
to talk his way out of it.
Yeah, I was definitely trying to talk my way. It was windy. The wind made it super cold.
Cold.
But I still went into it, and within like 5 seconds after screaming my lungs out, it was like fine. It was perfectly normal. I think it has a lot to do with how much we are exposed to cold water, because him and I do it all the time. Yeah. Every time we get a chance and we're in nature where it has water, best believe our entire body is getting into that water.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we are kind
We're
of,
training it.
yeah, we're definitely training that
It's like
muscle.
you need to train your ability to be happier on a day-to-day basis. It's not easy. Your body's gonna freak out. Your mind's gonna freak out, right? It's not easy to do that. Like, who wants to maintain that mood? It's very tiring. It's exhausting. But I am a firm believer that, like, what you constantly think about, if you're constantly grateful, if you're constantly thinking that, like, what's next, what's more, where can I improve, and you're not self-critiquing so harshly and you're not being so hard on yourself, then you start to just have this lighter energy about you before you know it. It's not going to happen overnight. It never does. It's going to be maybe some years. But I urge you to make videos like this and then go ahead and do the homework of working on yourself mindset-wise, being more positive daily. Because where you're going to be when you try to make a video like this a year from now, after consistency and consistently trying to raise your own vibration, raise your own thought patterns, and be more optimistic, you're going to be like night and day. It's going to be crazy. And things like all the delayed gratification is like a deeper sense of happiness where it's very inner going out. It's not outside affecting in. It's happiness stemming from the inside because you have integrity, because you're doing things that people don't want to do. You're doing all the things, you're working out, you're on your purpose, you're getting closer and closer to who you really are. Because you are not the content that you are watching, everything that you're consuming, all the low vibration habits that you have, you are none of that. Those are all just habits that are no longer serving you, and it's hard to give them up. But you're so much more. And with consistency and hard work, just keep going, keep getting after it.
Go big.
Go big or go home. All right. Keep getting it.
Nature's underground.
Nature's underground, baby. We out.